Welcome back to Simply Fujica, a place for budding and aspiring entrepreneurs. If you're new to the community, I definitely want to welcome you to the channel. My name is Fujica, and I serve this community as a business mentor, and ultimately, I help people achieve receiving their non-medical home care agencies. In this video, I will be discussing a question that I received behind the scenes. How do I fund my agency when I simply do not have the money? So when I got this question, I thought to myself, wow, this is something that needs to be addressed because I've heard it time and time again. So I am going to try my best to answer that question. So if that's something that you're interested in, you want to know the answer to the question, how do I start my home care agency with no money? Then stay tuned. The first thing that I wanted to do was remind you that I have done a video similar to this, which is how do you fund your non-medical home care agency? So I will ensure that that video is linked here up above, and I will also make sure that it is in the video description. In this video, this is more just giving you a couple of ideas. We're just going to talk about 2 or 3 ideas that are hopefully a little bit different from that video and something that you can really implement in your life. The first tip that I have for you is start with your savings. Now, some of you will tell me, what if you don't have a saving? So I want to point out 2 things as it relates to your savings. If you do have a savings and you can pull down some money, then I also want you to put together a plan to pay yourself back. Your older version of yourself will thank you for doing so, okay? So the goal is to not only put that money back, but if you can, pay yourself interest, okay? That's the first thing. The second tip I want to say to this is, let's just say, hey, I'm working, but I am truly working and living check to check. I get it. That makes me think of my mom, who was a single mother, who literally had her budget to the penny. You would be surprised on how much money that we truly waste. I had an eye-opening conversation with my husband when we were talking about improving our savings, and you would be surprised how much money you spend on fast food, how much money you spend on Starbucks, how much money we spend on Amazon Prime. Okay, when you start adding those things up over weeks, over monies, that turns out to be hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So I always tell people, don't think you don't have money until you know that every dollar that's coming into your household is accounted for. My mom had her budget figured out to the penny. And this is what I suggest for you. Really sit down and think of all the money that's coming in and what does that money go out to. Once you have that figured out, then you can decide if you can start with even something as small as $20, $50, $70 a paycheck, just something to get your savings plan started. The second item that I want to talk to you about is grants. I don't think people pay enough attention to grants. I think what turns people off sometimes about the grants is putting together the responses or the reasoning that those funds are needed. However, the benefit of you potentially achieving one of those grants should outweigh you not wanting to put together that response, okay? So a couple of things about that. There are so many grants that you can become eligible for based on your race, your ethnicity, the fact that you are a woman. If you are a man in the home care field, this may make you eligible for a grant. There are different eligibility reasons, and you want to make sure that you let Google do the work for you and figure out what some of those grants are. In that same vein, you all know that the last few months of 2023, I did a business expo. And when I got a chance, when I finished my actual presentation and got a chance to be in the room with some of the other participants, I met so many women who told me about grants that we were currently eligible for based on the fact that we were small business owners. And so again, sometimes you may not find what you need from Google, but even if you just kind of make yourself present at some of the events, some of the business events, some of the business expos, where you can get out and meet people who are like-minded, who are running small businesses, who have the experience, who, like you, at some point didn't know how they were going to fund their business venture. Get in the room to have those conversations. One of the ladies was discussing with me that a particular nonprofit had just won a grant, and the purpose of their grant was to help other small businesses start their business. So this means business cards, websites, just all of those things that it takes for you to get started as a business. It was the sole purpose of this nonprofit to help you achieve that. Again, I've never heard of that nonprofit, never heard of this as an opportunity that was in the community, but had I have not been at that business expo, I wouldn't be able to share that with you today. So you really want to make sure that you are looking for those particular grants that can help you. You really want to make sure that you are positioning yourself to apply for these grants. The best thing about grants, of course, is that you do not have to pay that money back. The last tip that I have for you in this video is looking for a small loan or line of credit. Now, I know you all have heard me say before, make sure that you get associated with your local SBA chapter, which is the Small Business Association, whatever chapter that's closest to you. I love the fact that they're always hosting small classes to help you not only run your business, but to tell you some of the legalities that we all face today as small business owners. I love that. And remember, part of why they're in business is to help you launch your business. That includes business funding. So I know if we can, and this is why I always position this is why I always mention this last, is if you do not want to take out a loan but have no choice, at least in this way, you can position yourself for optimal financing with the Small Business Association. With the line of credits, sometimes we are all eligible to increase a line of credit that we have maybe on an existing credit card. Maybe you could cash advance a current credit card that you have. Be on the lookout for some of those transfer with zero balance options. A lot of times they will have you, they will have an offer to where you can have 6 months, maybe a year, interest-free for any applicable loan balances or any applicable balance transfers. Again, I would never suggest that lightly, because who wants to accumulate debt as they are trying to start their business? So again, this is something that if you do go down this route, you have to make sure that you put together a plan. How much money are you talking about as it relates to starting your home care? How much money do you need? Because remember, you don't want to borrow more than you need. And whatever you do borrow, whatever you do get approved for, you are using that specifically for your business. Okay, that was my last tip for this video. I hope that you enjoyed that. For the members of the community who have other soft suggestions, go ahead and put those in the comments. I'm sure people would love to hear those from you. Some of you are still asking me when my next class is. My next class will start in June. I will actually have that information for you in the video description. And then I also have some other services that you can look in the video description for. For those of you who are still needing assistance, make sure you reach out to me at simplyfujica@yahoo.com. Also, you can reach out to me on Instagram at simplyfujica. Lastly, if you enjoyed today's content, and I sincerely hope you did, do not forget to like the video, do not forget to subscribe to my channel, and then hit that bell notification so that you're notified every time I release a new video. That's all I have for you all today. Stay blessed.